Wakizashi's Teahouse.
Hey, how's it going? How are you doing? Good evening from Japan, good morning wherever you are, or good afternoon. This is Gray from Wakizashi's Teahouse. How are you doing? Are you good? Are you genki? I'm pretty good, thanks. It's been a good day today. I'm excited to talk about Ghost Rider today. It's a comic book that I used to love when I was a kid. I think my brother was a big fan too. But before we get to that, let's just talk about this week. I'm going to start this as a new show. It's Sunday morning, number one. It's basically, I know it's Sunday evening here, Sunday night, but it's Sunday morning in the States where most of my viewers watch from. Sunday afternoon in the UK. So I hope you guys are good out there. And ladies, if there's anyone out there, good to see you. Busy day today. Been doing some editing on a video called my latest Snow Country audio video, which, tell you what, they take so long to make. The recording's not too bad, but the editing takes ages. I'm trying to make another part of that. They last about 30 minutes, those parts. So working on that, and afternoon I went for a cycle in this crazy hot and humid sticky weather, but it was nice to get out. You know, sometimes you need a break from the screen, don't you? You need to switch everything off and just get out there. So I cycled up to the beach and the sea and enjoyed that. It was really nice. And I wasn't sure about doing a live stream tonight because I did one yesterday. Really fun live stream talking about, what's it called? Shinya Shokudo, which is Midnight Diner in English. It's a story about a small restaurant in Tokyo, in Shinjuku, in Japan, and great slice of life drama. Very funny at times, very moving, very touching. So if you want to see my discussion of that, please check out the live stream from yesterday. Yeah, I really recommend that. Great series. But as I say, today I want to talk a little bit about Ghost Rider. Now, the reason I want to talk about this is it was a recommendation from a fellow YouTuber, a really cool comic book YouTuber called 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser. I'm sure you've heard of him. He does great comic breakdowns and like live streams on comics. Really good channel. Usually on Friday nights, I think, American time, after the Friday Night Tights has finished. He does one there. So he was raving, well, not raving, but he was recommending Ghost Rider because I was talking to him about what do you think of the new Amazing Spider-Man? And because I've been enjoying it. If you see my reviews, I've come back to Spidey after years. I mean, we're talking years and years away. I mean, it could be like 30 years almost, is it? Think about it. Yeah, probably is. So I'm back in reading Spidey regularly now. I wish it was coming out monthly. It's not. It's coming out twice a month, so it's quite tricky to keep up with that. And the Spawn comics that I'm reading, still really into the Spawn titles, especially King Spawn and Gunslinger Spawn. And yeah, so Nick Weiser was recommending check out the new Ghost Rider series because it got a relaunch in February this year. A new number one came out. Now this is actually the 50th year, if you can believe that or not. I thought it was 1973, so it'd be next year, but no, it actually came out in 1972. So let me give you a bit of a history of Ghost Rider. First of all, let's change the background. I keep forgetting to do this. I've got my normal like Wakizashi Teahouse streaming. I brought that's better. There we go. We got Ghost Rider now. And can I just say before I carry on, hey, hello to Purple Valkyrie. How you doing? Nice to see you. Thanks for dropping in. Hope things are good with you. Yeah. Hope you're having a good Sunday. So let's read a little bit from the Ghost Rider Wikipedia. So I'm sure you know who the character is, but for me, like, it's always been about the design. I think it's one of the most iconic designs in Marvel Comics characters, don't you think? Fantastic design, really eye-catching. And it was always that drew my attention more than the stories. But saying that, I was young. You know, I was really young when I was reading it. I was kind of sort of borrowing my brother's copies because I think he was buying a few. I mean, I was born in 1973 when Ghost Rider got its first solo series. Before that, it came out in something called Marvel Spotlight. Where are we? Yeah, Marvel Spotlight issue 5, which was August 1972. Can you believe that? How crazy is that? Just let me see if I can share. I want to share an image for this. I've got these prepared, hopefully, he says. Where are we? Oh dear. No, it's not showing. Oh, well, never mind. Okay, anyway. No, why is it not showing? Try one more time. Okay, good. It's there now. Here we go. Share that. Okay, so StreamYard being a bit weird, or maybe it's me. So this is Marvel Spotlight issue 5. Now this is from August. It says on the comic book, I think it came out, August 1972. So that's why it's 50 years this year. Can you believe that? This was a character, Johnny Blaze, who is the original Ghost Rider. He debuted in Marvel Spotlight issue 5. It was created by the Marvel editor-in-chief, Roy Thomas. There was a writer called Gary Friedrich, I think it was Friedrich, and artist Mike Plug, great name. Then after that, it was so popular, I think it went for about 5 or 6 issues in the Marvel Spotlight comic. It got its own series from 1973. So where are we? So yeah, I just love this cover, look at it. This is so cool. A legend is born. Is he alive or dead? Nobody's sure. Let me show you some of the art from inside. This is the very first appearance, so not from Ghost Rider, from Marvel Spotlight. Look at this. I mean, it's pretty simple, but I love the art here. I love the image in the rain and the bike. It's there, isn't it? Let's just read a little bit from this. This was, written by Gary Friedrich. Rain engulfing the city in a damp blanket of gloom. Rain pounding down on the skull that once was the head of a normal man. Rain combining with the black loneliness of night to beat a mournful cadence which cries, "You are now the Ghost Rider." Come on, how cool is that? What an opening. So this is like 1972, 50 years ago. Think about that. And let me show you one more page from this first appearance. Again, great art, very simple but very striking. I like the strong line there. The ink looks good. We hear from Johnny Blaze himself as Ghost Rider. Streets too slick to outrun them. Have to find another way. We're closing the gap. Another block or so, and watch it. He's cutting a corner. No dice. They're still on my tail. So cool. Anyway, where are we? So after that, there's one more here. One more image I want to show. Look at this. You got a little bit of the early reverse transformation. You see him going from Ghost Rider back to Johnny Blaze. The bottom panels there. I just love this art. It's so striking, so vivid. This is back in the days when comic book publishers and companies, they were limited to. Was it like not a 5-colour palette, but something to do with how much they could print at the time. It was very limited to the different colours they could print. So, yeah, they had to really use the colours well, to make them stand out. Thank God, the curse isn't complete. I'm becoming Johnny Blaze. Okay, and then this is an image from, let me check if it's actually showing. Yeah, it's showing. This is from the first issue. So he got his solo series. It says September. It's 1973. A very special year. That was the year Wakizashi was born. So, man, I don't remember it, but I believe it was a bit of a crazy year. But yeah, Ghost Rider came out with his solo series there. Wanted. Dead or alive. Oh, sorry, dead and alive, it says there. Fearsome first issue, now in his own mind-bending mag, because you demanded it. I love these little, what do you call them? Not synopses, but these little quotes from, it's like you can imagine it in Stan Lee's voice, can't you? The most supernatural superhero of all, Ghost Rider. So what was next there? Let me just see. There we go. So let me show you just the first page from issue 1. Again, it's Gary Friedrich, and Tom Sutton is now the artist. Tom Sutton's taken over. Just read a little bit here. Early morning, the first rays of dawn are too weak to cut through the heavy fog which enshrouds a tiny cemetery in New England. Excuse me, we see a gravestone here. It says Victoria Hellstrom, born March 4th, 1928, died August 21st, 1953. A hand, it reaches down through the swirling mists and places a gold cross upon a grave. A man, he stands by the grave and stares at the weather-beaten tombstone, remembering his mother and wondering if he will ever face again. A Woman Possessed. That's the title, the first part, the first issue. While across the continent, a roaring Harley-Davidson carries its Satan-possessed rider over the Arizona desert toward the bedside of his beloved, and toward possible death from a hail of police bullets just around the bend, bullets which would be harmless to the Ghost Rider, but ever so fatal to his mortal alter ego, Johnny Blaze. Just one more page. Look at this. I'm not going to read the whole thing, don't worry. But again, the art. It's so cool. The 1970s Marvel. It was a great time for Marvel Comics. There were some really good series then. You know, I'm not that much of a comic geek. I can't name them all. But I know at that time in the 70s, there was the real Master of Kung Fu, The Deadly Hands of Shang-Chi. You know, the proper comic book, not the awful movie version that Marvel just did recently. There was also Tomb of Dracula, which was another great series. I think Howard the Duck was coming out, which is very popular, really cool. So many iconic comic books at that time. If you know any more, please let me know in the chat. Drop them, anything from the 70s. But yeah, great time for Marvel Comics. Okay, stop sharing there. Where are we? Come back to the stream. Ooh. I'm not even sure how I do that now. There we go. Okay, so who's here? Teahouse here. The first appearance of Ghost Rider. Yeah, mate, it was. It was back in Marvel Spotlight, issue 5, 1972. Can you believe that? And then he got his own comic book run, which went from, I think it was from 1973 to 1983 or 2. I need to double check there. Here we go. Okay, the series ran for 81 issues when it got his solo series. So it finished in June 1983. So it got a good run there, 10 years. Since then, there have been quite a few relaunches, you know, reboots and different characters. They've changed from Johnny Blaze. There's the follow-up, which I don't know, but he's got a kind of cool origin here. Danny Ketch. That's the name of the second Ghost Rider. What does it say here? What was it? There was a comment about ninja or something. That's what I was quite interested to hear about his story. Here we go. The subsequent Ghost Rider series from 1990 to 1998. No way, so that went for 8 years as well. That's quite long. This featured a new character, Danny Ketch, as a new Ghost Rider. This is the bit that got me. Listen to this. After his sister was injured by ninja gangsters. Come on, I'm there. I want to know what this is about. Ninja is a magic word for me. Ninja gangsters. Ketch comes in contact with a motorcycle that contains the essence of a spirit of vengeance. There we go. Okay, let's get back to the stream. Oh, I see who's there. Oh, Derek, how you doing? Nice to see you. Hello there, so he says to Wakizashi. And hey, Adi, nice to meet you. Wakizashi, I wish I could read that, mate. Eid Mubarak. Good to see you, man. Oh, it's a very kind of you to say. Yeah, may we all be blessed with a long and prosperous life. I can't afford the first appearance of Ghost Rider, so I got a facsimile off eBay, says Derek. Really? Okay, cool. Yeah, can you imagine if we had a first appearance, if we had a physical copy of that first issue? Imagine if they had the Marvel Spotlight one. That sounds so cool. Yeah, Purple, doesn't he? Very joyous. That's cool. Good to hear. Okay, so I want to read a little bit from, there's an article here which it's from marvel.com, and it came out last year, end of last year, talking about this year being the 50th anniversary of the character. So let me just share the screen with this. Here we go. Hey, how you doing? Mrs. Wakizashi just came back from shopping. She's creeping past quietly, trying not to make a sound. Here we go. So this was published last year. I think it was October. Johnny Blaze rides into the next era of Ghost Rider in a new ongoing comic series by writer Benjamin Percy and the artist Cory Smith. Now, I know Benjamin Percy from some of his work on, I think, some of the X-Men titles. It might have been, was it X-Force? Was he doing that? I'm not quite sure. And Cory Smith, I don't know. He's a new name for me. So this came out in February, Ghost Rider issue 1. let's read from it. So there's an interview here with Benjamin Percy, and he's talking about what he's going to do, what he's interested in. So just want to read a little bit from this. Here's what Benjamin Percy has to say about taking the reins of this character. I'm a horror head. I grew up reading Stephen King, watching John Carpenter, and listening to Black Sabbath. And when it came to comics, I always reached first for the dark and the weird, which means I read a hell of a lot of Ghost Rider. That flaming skull, that spiked leather jacket, that monstrous bike coughing out clouds of sulphurous exhaust. To this day, the sight of the character blazing along a midnight highway makes my heart rev like a 4-stroke engine. It's brilliant, that, isn't it? He's really selling it there, Benjamin Percy. Ghost Rider is arguably the best designed, but inarguably the most heavy metal character in all of comics. What do you think about that? He is metal, isn't he? He's such a metal image. It would be badass to write this series at any point in my life, but launching on the 50th anniversary feels especially unholy. Cory Smith is killing it on art, and we're going to honour the past while burning rubber into a terrifying future packed with mystery, action and shadow-soaked emotion. Prepare yourself for the ultimate in road horror. So, it sounds awesome. Of course he's talking the talk there, but does he walk the walk? That's the question. And then there's a little bit from the artist here, Cory Smith. He says, I'm incredibly excited to be riding shotgun with Ben Percy as we bring Ghost Rider screaming into the 50th anniversary. As a comic nerd and a horror nerd, Ghost Rider has always been a favourite of mine, so this project is a dream come true. Johnny Blaze, the spirit of vengeance, is back. We're firing on all cylinders, and I can't wait for everyone to see the hellfire we're bringing. It's about to get crazy. There we go. That's a good one. Okay. So Derek, mate, this is what got me started on this the topic of the stream. I was recommended the new series by fellow YouTuber and a friend, 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser. Check out his channel, by the way, very good. So I checked out the first couple of issues. Issue 4 just came out last week. I think it was last Wednesday. So it's already on issue 4, and I was surprised because it's pretty dark. It's got a real nice kind of horror vibe to it. For me, I'm saying dark, but for Marvel, don't forget this is Marvel publishing it. So I'm not sure if it's one of their, parental advisory, one of the more mature titles like King Conan was. I need to check about that. But I wanted to share some of the images from the comic. Let's see. But before I do that, I have to have where are we? Let's give a shout out to one of the only, I think so far, the only actor to play Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider. Now, come on, you know who it is, don't you? The only actor who could play it. I think he was almost like demanding. He wanted the role, didn't he? It's the one and only Nick Cage, isn't it? Nicolas Cage. So I've got a couple of clips, just very short clips. I want to show a little bit of the original transformation scene from Ghost Rider, the first movie, Nicolas Cage, in all his overacting glory. That's the first part of it. I had to break it, into very short clips because you've got to be so careful with YouTube, especially at the moment. If it gets like a copyright claim later, I'll just take it out. But great overacting by Cage, don't you think? Shall I play the next one? It goes from there to here. So that was pretty good. It's going back, it's going back in time now, the movie. I can't remember exactly when it came out, but it's over 10 years ago. That's not bad, the special effects. It didn't get very well received, did it, as far as I know? Maybe, I'm not quite sure. You can correct me in the chat, but man, yeah. Nick Cage is perfect in that role, isn't he? It has to be. It could only be him. So, yeah, as Derek is saying, Nick Cage, the one and only. And, Derek's got a question here. A question for the chat as well. Ghost Rider versus Spawn. Who wins? What do you think? That's a tough one, isn't it? That'd be a great battle because you've got the chains. Both of them have got these like crazy chains attacks. You got the fire from Ghost Rider. Spawn can like probably summon hellfire as well. Cool. And as Purple Valkyrie says, love me some Nicolas Cage. You can't go wrong, can you, Purple, with a good Nicolas Cage clip. Okay, Norman Reedus is rumoured to play next. Really? Is he, Derek, is he the actor from Walking Dead that made him famous? Yeah, is that the one you're thinking of? Wow, it's funny you're saying that, just a coincidence, but today I was chatting with my my good friend Nosferatu, the vampire, and we were talking about, this is a bit of a tangent, yeah, we were talking about the Japanese game designer Hideo Kojima, because there was a crazy, shall I segue, there was a crazy story where a foreign news agency misidentified Hideo Kojima as the assassin of ex-Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. They actually had it on a news piece, but a picture of him, Hideo Kojima. I was like, no, it's not him, of course. But anyway, so I'm going on tangents here. My friend Nosferatu recommended I check out a video of a game. 'Cause I'm not a gamer, but I was asking like, what would you recommend from Kojima apart from the Metal Gear Solid games? And oh Jesus, I'm forgetting the name now. I'm getting stream brain. Here we go. So what I'll do is I'll have a quick search. So it's got a very simple kind of title, and in the game it has an amazing cast. Mads Mikkelsen's in it, and Norman Reedus, as I was just talking about. Is it Mads Mikkelsen? I always forget how you spell his name. See if I can find it. Death Stranding. That's it. There you go. Death Stranding. Let me just see if I can find a picture of it. So I was watching the game trailer for that this morning. It's unbelievable. You should see it. It looks like a movie, that good. And I think it's quite a few, it's maybe 5 or 6 years old. Let's see if I can share it. Here we go. Share some images of that. Death Stranding. It's a kind of weird title, but there's a poster. You can see straight away it's him. Hideo Kojima game. This looks totally crazy and wild, by the way. Very curious to see what it's like. I'd love to play it, but as I say, I'm not a gamer. Léa Seydoux in it as well, the French actress who was in the recent Bond movies. She's in it too. Yeah, look at that. I mean, I know people have been saying that games have been getting like as good as or even maybe better than modern movies, but I didn't know, some of these games had like proper stars in them. But anyway, let's get back to Ghost Rider. Where are we? Okay, Derek's saying, just saw Thor Love and Thunder tonight. Ooh. Let me know what you think, mate. Let me know what you think. I've been hearing very, very mixed things about it. It was, I'm not planning to see it myself. I'm not really interested. I prefer the first movie, the Kenneth Branagh directed, the original Thor. Ragnarok was fun. It was okay. It was bright and shiny, and but it's Taika Waititi, and I think you can only take so much of him before you lose it. But if you enjoyed it, mate, I'm saying nothing against that. It's done as a comedy, isn't it? I heard it was a little bit too over the top, a little bit too much comedy. Like you couldn't really take anything seriously. But that's only what I've heard. I haven't seen it. Okay. Norman needs to be in the MCU somehow, says Derek. Really? You think so? Okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Would he work as Ghost Rider? Maybe Johnny Blaze. Because it's funny in the comics, he's like blonde-haired, blue-eyed in the original comics. So speaking of that, let me get back to that. I want to share. Where are we? Some more of the images from the actual comic. Okay, here we go. See if this works now. Yes. So here's the cover for the relaunch. It says here, issue 1, but it's legacy number 247, issue 247 if you count them all up. I don't know if that includes the Marvel Spotlights or from the original solo series probably. So yeah, 50 years it's got at the bottom. What do you reckon to this image? Pretty cool, isn't it? Look at that. On his bike. The bike design's changed here. I kind of prefer the Harley Davidson style of the original one, but that's just me being, Natsukashi, where are we? There, this one, what do you think? Would you go for that one? This one, look at that. Anyway, getting ahead of myself. So sorry for skipping through those. Okay, so I want to read a little bit from this, just let you give you an idea of what issue 1 is like. Great art, by the way, in the first issue. The first issue especially. Issues 2 and 3, I thought the quality went a little bit down. It looked like it was maybe a little bit rushed, but the first one, it's worth buying if you can get a copy. When I drink myself to sleep, my brain goes black like a midnight highway. I'm nowhere. I'm just gone, hurtling through this great big nothing until dawn comes. So this is Johnny Blaze, back in the relaunch. And when I don't drink myself to sleep, the nightmares find me. Now, what do you think of this image here at the top? This reminded me of a kind of a Terminator image. I got Terminator vibes from it. Very cool. You can see the skull there, the Ghost Rider skull, covered in chains. And then look carefully here where you see Johnny waking up in his bed. He's screaming, and there's a shadow on the wall of like Ghost Rider. You can see the jacket and the eyes glowing. Very cool. I'm not safe to be around. And then we hear like he's, where is it? My name's Johnny Blaze, and there's no such thing as monsters. So he's trying to convince himself it's not real, he's just dreams. A few months ago, I wrecked my bike. I rolled 50 yards, fractured my skull, severe concussion, bad swelling on the brain, 2 surgeries. Ever since then, things haven't been right, physically, emotionally, mentally. Look at this, there's a great image here at the bottom. It's really creepy where he's had the operation on, the operation scar on his head. Sometimes you see like an eye peeping out of that. It's so weird. It's a real like weird horror scene for Marvel. It kind of surprised me. And then look at this here. This is for me, it's a new character. I don't know this character. Zebediah, he's some kind of dark wizard or something. Great image by the artist. I love this angle where he's holding their baseball. And then when he passes it to the boy, look at that. It looks like Eddie from Iron Maiden, not Eddie from Stranger Things. The Eddie, the crazy character from the Iron Maiden album art, don't you think? On the baseball. And then just giving an example, it must be a mature title. Look at this. This is one of the pages from inside. It's a very dark horror vibe to it. There's blood. There's people dead on the floor. There's like supposedly people burning in a church here. Like Jesus. It must be. It must be mature. And then one more image. Look at this one. Great art by the artist. I love the way he split it up in the panels. It's showing like sort of bolts of energy or something coming out of Johnny Blaze's head. And you're seeing all these different weird dark scenes of horror. A little bit of a Hellblazer style. Oh, sorry, Hellraiser box, a puzzle box there with a little eye, an eye peeping out of it. And then we get to see the reveal of Ghost Rider. This is a new design of him, pretty cool. Who did this? Who caged me here? And then we see the bike. Great image. What do you reckon? Okay, and then I've got so I say Benjamin Percy's the writer. Cory Smith is the artist on this first issue. I think he gets help with the issues 2 and 3. There's like 2 artists named, him and somebody else. So that's a sign, that things maybe were, I don't know about rushed, but they had to get someone to help out. And then let's show you the images of issue 2. Here's the cover for 2. Look at that. Great scene there. Great image. Kind of split personality vibe to it. You see Johnny Blaze and you see the Ghost Rider, the Spirit of Vengeance. Then here's the cover for issue 3. There's a crazy like monster truck in this. I got like feelings of Steven Spielberg's original, like one of his first movies, a TV movie called Jewel. Have you ever seen that? About a crazy truck driver. Very cool. And the bike is here at the bottom. Again, strange design, not sure about it. But this is great. Look at this. You got Ghost Rider. They've done it like he's visualized it as though he's kind of like coming out. He's like pulling off or removing like a coat or something. Johnny Blaze. It's like shaking him off like a layer of skin. Very weird. And then the latest issue just came out last week, issue 4, legacy number 247. Another cool image here. I like this glowing green knife. And there's chains chaining up Ghost Rider. Is it Spawn's chains? Okay, let's get back. Okay, Derek's still here. Asking me if you've seen the new Doctor Strange movie. I did see it. I went to see that because I'm a fan of Sam Raimi, the director, and I was hoping for a bit of a Evil Dead feel to it. I enjoyed the Evil Dead scenes. I enjoyed the Sam Raimi scenes from the movie. It didn't really work as a whole movie. It was a shame. Wasn't that sure about the characters, the America Chavez character. And it was more of a Wanda Maximoff movie, with Doctor Strange in it. But yeah, I did like the darkness. I like the horror scenes in there. I like that kind of vibe and the weird. I wanted to see more of the multiverse, the madness, the crazy scenes, but we didn't get enough, I thought. Again, that's just me, just my opinion. So, Ghost Rider, back to it. Where are we? Johnny Blaze. Now, did you know that there was already an original character from Marvel called Ghost Rider? It was a different character completely. Somebody called Carter Slade, Western comics hero. So he was in Western comics. Marvel used to do those kind of genre comics, later known as the Phantom Rider. They changed him to that. So there was a named character called Ghost Rider, but just a different one completely. Yeah. The character story, the original, Johnny Blaze, motorcycle stuntman. He becomes bound to the spirit of vengeance after making a deal with Mephisto to spare his surrogate father. With his supernatural powers, Johnny seeks vengeance as the Ghost Rider. Okay, there we go. We've got a link to the movies. So the first Nicolas Cage one came out in 2007. Wow. No way. So you're talking, that's 15 years already. The film was written and directed by Mark Steven Johnson, who'd done the 2003 version of Daredevil. Ben Affleck. What did you think of that? Ooh, wasn't great, was it? I think it's worth a rewatch, though, by the way. It's not as bad as it was made out to be. Here we go. The film came out. It was met with negative reviews from critics, but was a box office success, earning $228 million worldwide. Okay, so it did okay, the box office. That's good. Didn't know that. You had Nicolas Cage, Eva Mendes, Wes Bentley. I couldn't take him seriously in the role. He was like the villain. Sam Elliott, great to see him in it. Donald Logan, Peter Fonda. Wow. And then there was a sequel that came out in 2012, so 5 years later. Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance. Okay. Sorry, it says 2011 there. 2011 superhero film. Sequel to the 2007 movie. And Nicolas Cage came back, reprising his role as Johnny Blaze and Ghost Rider. The film grossed more than $132 million against its $57 to $75 million budget. So, don't think it was that well received, was it? Rotten Tomatoes gave it an approval of 18%, but I don't hold much with the Rotten Tomatoes. I always check the audience scores more than that, and I usually go for IMDb. Average of 4 out of 10, dear me. A weak script, uneven CG work, and a Nick Cage performance so predictably loony, it's no longer amusing. Can you have too much loony from Nick Cage? Is that even possible? On Metacritic, the film has a weighted average score of 34 out of 100. Generally unfavourable reviews. Okay, there we go. Okay, back to you guys in the chat. Derek says, I have the one in the 25 Ghost Rider number 1. Oh, nice. Cool. It's got a great cover, has it? I'm sure there were quite a few variant covers came out with that. Is that right? Yeah. And the Daredevil uncut version was good. Okay, I think that's the one I've heard is supposed to be, because I remember seeing it years ago. I've not seen it for a long time, but I think it's worth a rewatch, Ghost Rider 2 was 5.5, was a love-hate-it film. Yeah, it was disappointing, wasn't it? I enjoyed the first one. I thought that was kind of crazy fun. But 2, I don't remember much about it. I remember being disappointed as well. So, yeah, there we go. It's a shame to hear that, isn't it? Okay, where are we? So I think I've gone through the photos I wanted to show and share with you from Ghost Rider, the comic book. Yeah, as I say, I definitely recommend it. Give it a try. This new run by Benjamin Percy as a writer. It's good. It's going for me, it's got a good kind of horror, a little bit horror and fantasy feel to it. And there has been some good art. It's a little bit up and down, the art in issues 2 and 3. 4 was okay. Yeah, see what you think. So, but I'm tempted to go back to the original series, start reading those, and especially the Marvel Spotlight ones from back in 1972. Like, they look so cool. You can pick them up on Kindle pretty cheap, like $1.99 I think. So yeah, tempting to do that. But what it was like, I guess with most people, the same with everyone, I just loved the design. It really caught my eye as a child, because I was young when it was coming out, and my older brother was collecting it, so I think he bought a few issues. So yeah, such an iconic design, but I never really got into the comic myself, never really bought it consistently. But with this new run, I'm pretty tempted now to give it like 5 or 6 issues, see how it goes, see what I think. Okay, so where are we? Yes, the news. Today I was watching a fantastic video to share an image from it. YouTube, It's a Gundam. Yeah, It's a Gundam has just dropped a brilliant Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series review, which I recommend if you fancy a laugh. It's how should we say? If you're a big fan of Kenobi, the series, maybe don't watch it. But I just thought that was so disappointing. And this video by Gundam, he's hilarious. He's really funny, and it's so well made. I don't know how long it takes him to make these videos, and it's a long one as well. This is a 50-minute video where he breaks down it episode by episode, letting let you know what he thinks was wrong with it, the mistakes that were made, and maybe how good it could have been. It was a shame, the kind of wasted or a missed opportunity. But I recommend that if you fancy a laugh, and if you're a strong Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi series fan, maybe don't watch it. Just saying. Okay, let's see. Okay, so no one's commenting, that's all right. So today's stream, I say this is a Sunday night for me, early Monday morning in the States, Monday afternoon in the UK. Just going to be a short stream, just basically wanted to let you know about the Ghost Rider series. Check it out if you fancy it. Looking good so far. Where are we? Derek saying, after watching the Multiverse of Madness and new Thor movie, the MCU could have done something awesome, but it's Disney and they are blowing it. I agree. As I say, I haven't seen Thor yet, Derek, but from what I've heard, I'm not going to bother. I might watch it when it comes out on on streaming or something, but I'm not going to go to cinema, which is a shame, because if they did like a really cool Kirby style, Thor, or did some of the Walt Simonson, some of his like storylines, that could have been great. But no, they wanted to focus on the more recent Jane Foster storyline. So there we go. But yeah, going back to the original movie, the first Thor, I think it's underrated. I know Thor 2 is not great, and that gets a lot of criticism. That's fair enough, but the original Thor I thought was really good, really entertaining, fun, and like well done. And the director, Kenneth Branagh, he seemed to like be taking it kind of fairly seriously. He's famous for Shakespearean movies and Shakespeare theatre, so he did it as a let's do it, let's just go all out and do it like these are Shakespearean characters or whatever, like gods. But I thought it was really good. I do recommend it. And very tempted to go back and rewatch it. But yeah, going back to, what was it? Ragnarok, the third movie. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't like the way they were portraying Thor and what they were doing, making him into a bit of a joke, which is, I've heard it's kind of continues in the new movie. Is that right? Just, let's make him an idiot. Let's just make him a comedy piece. But yeah, he wasn't like that in the first movie. Yeah, he's still, there are funny scenes, there are funny moments where you see, was it an Asgardian god, like having to try and make sense of Earth, getting used to living on Earth, which I think that's why it makes the first movie so good. It was that fish out of water story, adjusting to a new place and with like completely different rules and things. So, and there was a nice chemistry between the characters, and it had Anthony Hopkins, of course, as Odin, like fantastic, and the effects are really good. The first movie. How was that, Derek? Have you seen it? And I don't know, Purple, if you're still there. Have you seen Thor: Love and Thunder? I gather you're probably not going to go and see it. How did it look? I've heard mixed things about the effects. From seeing the trailer, it looked a bit weird sometimes. They were talking about, you can tell they were using that LED, what do you call it, like a circular screens, a load of series of screens where they just project things on it and they have the actors standing in front of those screens. So things don't look, very good. But we'll see. Okay, how are we doing? People still here. Yeah. So, coming out next week, new comics I want to talk about. Hopefully I will be making reviews of these. There is a new issue of Daredevil. Let's just go back. I want to share this screen. Where are we? Haha. Gray's booming it. Can you believe that? They're relaunching Daredevil. There's a new #1 coming out next week. Now, I'm very curious about this. I do want to pick up a copy. I want to read it because it's Chip Zdarsky who did the last run of Daredevil, which I thought was very good. Here we go. I just want to blow up this image here. So we've got a new issue #1, The Red Fist Sage, Part 1, The Island. After the devil's reign comes the dawn. In the wake of Wilson Fisk's violent and visceral last act, it's a new era for the New York and the Man Without Fear. With a groundbreaking creative team returning to usher in an all-new chapter, Matt Murdock has no choice but to leave behind everything he's ever known. And Elektra is the last vestige of his former life. Everything Matt Murdock thought it meant to be Daredevil is about to change, including the challenges he will have to face in the cowl. First of all, look at that image. Fantastic cover, don't you think? Beautiful. Yeah. Speaking of covers, check this out. I'm going to go down. So first of all, it's going to be $4.99, but it's a bigger size issue. It's 36 pages, it says, instead of the regular. What is it? There's about 21 these days for a $3.99. So $4.99. Look at these variant covers. Now, okay, I know there's some great images, but let me just count them. Okay, here we go. We've got 1, 2, 3. That's kind of repeated there. 4, 5, 6, 7. Another one there repeated. 8, 9, 10, 11. Is that the same? No, not sure. 12, could be 13. 13 or could be 14 even. Variant covers. I mean, look at the list here. All these artists. Of course, there are some fantastic ones, but, Marvel, it's all about the money, isn't it? Relaunching it. It only had about, was it 30? 30 or so issues from the last run, which just finished recently. This is going to be legacy number 649. So that's how long it's been going. And I've always been a fan of Daredevil. It was one of the original comics that I used to collect when I was first getting into comics. I was buying it. I missed Frank Miller. I'm not quite that old, unfortunately. I just missed his run. I was buying it when Ann Nocenti was writing it. And she did a really good run at the time. And I think it's kind of, it's like held in high regard now looking back. I don't know how popular it was, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. Some great stories. There's one particular one, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a huge recommend. It was a kind of one and done, so a single issue story. And it's basically Matt Murdock in a bar, Christmas Eve, or it could be New Year's Eve, in a really dodgy bar in New York. And he meets all these different characters, just like one night with the devil in a bar. And I think the devil comes in, the real devil, is it Mephisto? It's fantastic. God, I wish I could remember the name, but yeah, just check it out. It's a one and done Ann Nocenti issue during a Daredevil run where it's like, oh God, you get these different characters' stories. It's like a slice of life thing. You see into their lives, and you've got the devil there, sort of influencing them and stuff. It's a really good issue, really good. So that's coming out. Let's go back. New comics. What else am I looking forward to? Next week there's going to be the new issue of King Spawn. That's coming out as well, so definitely getting that. I'm a huge fan of King Spawn. It's been really good so far. There we go. Look at the cover. Ooh, looking good. Sean Lewis and the artist, is it Javi? Yeah, Javier Fernandez has been doing amazing work on this series. Really, really good. There's a variant cover here. Ooh, look at that one. Okay, that's a cover by the interior artist. This is Javi Fernandez's cover. Look at this. Very metal. You've got the chains there. Getting Ghost Rider vibes from that as well, after what we were just talking about. Okay, the other cover is, main cover is by Philip Tan. Okay. So that's coming out. I'll be doing a review of that, hopefully, Wednesday or Thursday. And I think that was it from next week's releases. Those are the ones that are really catching my eye. Moon Knight's out, new issue. That's been very good if you're interested. Do recommend that. Much, much better than the TV series. There's a Fantastic Four there. There's Punisher. Relaunch Punisher is up to issue 4. Been getting a lot of criticism for various reasons. Changed his origin story. And yeah, that's about it. So, that's it for next week. I'll stop sharing that. Let's catch up with the comments. Okay, Derek, you're on episode 5 of Obi-Wan. Vader bringing down the ship was badass, but the wrong ship. Okay, if you like Christian Bale, he's awesome, but oh, really? Natalie Portman was good in the movie? Really? Okay. Yeah, I've heard that. The positives are that Christian Bale is great as the, is it Gore the God Butcher. Natalie Portman, she's good, is she? Okay, that's good to know. And Derek follows up his comment, tell you the truth, the best series, in my opinion, and it's got a new issue coming out, great read, is DC versus Vampires. Okay, nice. You're reading that, are you? Okay. Yeah, I've heard it's been good, that DC vs Vampires. That's been recommended to me a few times. So, yeah, is that the one that James Tynion is writing? Is that right? Okay, I'll check it out, mate, on your recommendation. I'll see what it's like. You're on League of Comics, League of Comic Geeks. Yeah, checking the covers. It's great. That's a great site. That the League of Comic Geeks. They show you the covers. They show you the variant covers. Give you the information of who's writing it. Like what's coming out. Yeah, I do recommend that site. Very cool. Okay, so we're going almost 50 minutes. What I'll do is I'm going to wrap up this short live stream. So before we do that though, I have to drop one more clip of Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider. Come on, it's got to be done. The second one, here we go. Time for a bit of Nick Cage, because there's always time. It's always time for Nick Cage. So cool. Okay, Derek, it's got a Francesco Mattina variant cover. Ooh, nice. I love his covers. They are so good, aren't they? There are some fantastic ones. Yeah, so great, I agree. Some of his Spawn covers have been amazing. He's done a few of those recently as well. Yeah. Okay, so that's brilliant, like. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your comments. You always make this like so much easier with your comments. Great to see you. I think this is the first time, is it, you're watching my channel? I'm not sure. Maybe seen before. I didn't recognise the avatar, that's all. So, hope to see you in a future video. This is Gray from Wakizashi's Teahouse, signing off for the night, saying matane.
Wakizashi's Teahouse. Please subscribe.